Three.
Hey, yo.
If I can be serious for a minute.
Oh, yeah. Acknowledge me.
Welcome, everybody. Episode number 89 of the Sit Down Mars podcast. How about that fire new intro there by Primo?
Fuck was that?
Shout out, brother.
I was gonna say it was a little trial. Hopefully, you guys liked it.
That was amazing.
You had me at hey yo.
I know,
I know. Like right at the beginning.
I know. And then I really wanted to get if I could be serious for a moment.
Yeah, we love some Landstorm around here. But welcome, everybody, to the Sit Down Marks podcast, episode number 89, to the best kept secret in wrestling podcasts. What's going on? Got the boys AJ and Primo here today, as usual. AJ, still your current Kurt Angle Trophy champion. He is putting it up here in just a couple weeks, as Survivor Series is right around the corner, so that's going to be going back up for grabs. Primo is going to try to be the 4-time champ. I'm going to try to be the 2-time champ.
He likes head pets, by the way.
He likes to be petted.
Yeah, like just on top of his head, little scritches for Kurt.
I won't tell you what's between me and Kurt. Okay, just.
Oh, he's told me, and
we all have our
never wants.
We
to
all
go
have our
back.
special relationships with Kurt. Also, we have our special relationships with everyone listening right now on all the podcast platforms out there, including Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, all those, Audible. You know, if you're listening to us, we thank you so much each and every week for downloading and subscribing. You can also check us out on SportsWire Online Radio. We are part of the SportsWire Online Radio family there, and they play us each and every Friday. The new pods come out on that show at sportinarium.com right before the Thomas Bryce show, and they also play us throughout the week. So continue to tell a friend. Continue to leave us those reviews. We really do appreciate it. And just thank you guys so much. And we really do appreciate all of the support. Let's kick this thing off like we know how. The old Jukity box is raring to go. Let's see what they pull out of the old archives for us today.
Jukity box.
Fitting, I guess.
Here we go.
Call me all-American, I'm a redneck through and through. I got my hat, my pickup truck, and my hound dog, he's named
Jimmy Wang Yang. You're not a Jimmy Wang Yang fan, AJ?
I'm not a that music fan.
Well, no.
At all.
Neither.
I hate it so much.
I mean, that's a parody.
Sure.
I know, but the point of a parody is to be funny, not to annoy you more than the actual thing you're parodying.
Right.
We were discussing pre-pod. Jimmy Wang Yang, though, quite the athlete, fun to
yeah.
watch. You know, cruiserweight.
That
You know,
cruiserweight division
he
was better off with him. Yeah.
Yes. Very
Oh
good.
yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah, he was great, man. But the gimmick was just fun.
It's trash. It's
Is
utter
that
trash.
his doing?
Right.
Is that Vince is doing? Paul Heyman's doing? Like, he's just like, all right, you're not your typical looking redneck,
Sure.
but go out there
Asian.
and get
You're
over
gonna be
being
an
an Asian
yeah.
cowboy.
Yes, exactly. Right. Yeah. So, but and he did in a lot of ways because everybody kind of got behind him there for a while, and he had a nice little run, little pop, but definitely good stuff there. But Jimmy Wang Yang, one of those guys you could probably kind of forget about.
Who's the better? Well, I wouldn't call this other one the redneck. I'd call him white trash. That'd be Jamie Noble.
Oh,
Right, yeah.
Jimmy Wang Yang was also way better.
Well,
Jamie Noble and Nadia.
Jamie
or
was
Nydia.
West Virginia.
Nydia.
It was Nydia.
What if you throw in like old school Jeff Jarrett in there too with his stupid fucking
old Double J with the
Yeah.
big old J's on him.
yeah
JEFFJRRE
in
T.
my opinion the worst wrestling gear, and like Max Moon had better wrestling gear than that version where he had like a collar and like suspenders.
Yeah.
Worst fucking wrestling gear in the history.
He had 4 straps, didn't he? Like
So
4
dumb.
suspenders.
God, I hated him so much. I mean, he's awesome in the ring. Like, don't get me wrong. I hated him in WCW, but that's another fucking
Well, I've had a
issue,
lot of
but-
people tell me that if it wasn't for the guitar gimmick, he would have been wrote off in wrestling a long time ago. Because
slap nuts.
Yeah, but
So dumb.
we'll talk about it here shortly.
His
But
father.
I was legit shocked when he showed up this week. I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah, I was like,
can you read
didn't he just referee an USO match? Like,
He's working the system right now. I got to give him credit for it. He's going back and forth.
Go.
I remember he was like, was it this year? Beginning of this year, he was in GCW.
Yeah.
Then he
Yeah, he
went and
wrestled
did.
Effie.
He went and did the Usos match as a referee. He went and
Right.
did the Broken Skull sessions with Stone Cold on
Right.
WWE Network.
Did Flair's
then
last
now-
match.
Did Flair's last match. That's right. He's just fucking everywhere.
He's all over the place. Good for Jarrett.
Making that money. I mean, he's an old
Yeah.
school like promoter type, so he knows how to make his money.
Yeah, good for him. I hear he's a lovely guy too, like in real life.
Also, fun fact, he looks just like my mom's husband, like legit.
For a second, I thought you were gonna stop at he looks just like my mom.
He like, but very oddly enough, he looks like my mom's husband. I don't know what. It's so weird.
Your mom was actually married to Jeff Jarrett and didn't tell you.
That'd be dope.
All right, let's get to it, man.
I think I would know that he was Jeff Jarrett before my mom would know that he's Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, probably
Right.
so. She would probably think he was just a random, guy that she met, and you would be like, "Holy shit,
Yeah.
Mom, that's Jeff Jarrett." She's like, "Who?"
Yeah, mom's just in the cowboy redneck dudes.
Yeah.
She wouldn't know the difference.
Right.
Sing her a country song.
All right, let's get to it, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am the Dirty Birds. Time to talk about what we're going to talk about today. Did you like Crown Jewel? Did WWE put on a good show? Well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to discuss that and including how our picks all went down. And today we're going to discuss the ever legendary, not so much, insert pun here, finger poke of doom, how we got there, how we felt about it, and much more in the Dropkick Discussion of the week. AJ is going to host this week's edition of Squared Circle Question as I'm calling out Lucha Daddy to let him know that I'm bringing the pain this week. He's going down. Any rebuttal from Lucha Daddy?
I'll have to ask him. Primo would say, no chance. No chance in hell.
Gotcha.
Ah,
right.
this is clever.
Usual shenanigans, obviously, and much more as we decipher all that is going on in the world of wrestling. Let's kick it off, Primo. Let's get this thing rolling, man.
Don't you blow kisses to my sweet Kurt.
He heard me.
What up, Mr. Cage Tyler, sweetheart?
This is the wild child, Connor Hopkins.
This is Christian Rose. Yo, this is the most dope, CJ Esparza.
This is the Croc Rocket, Nickelback poppin', curls for all the girls, the Perminator, Sam Beal.
And you are listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast.
And you are listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast with DB, Primo, and AJ.
With Primo, DB, and AJ on the Sit Down Marks podcast.
And I am on the Sit Down Marks podcast, and we're going to get some perfection today, baby.
All right, so our next show coming up, AJ and I are going to be in Dixon, Illinois on November the 19th for Zawa's Live Season 11
Hell
finale.
yeah.
Main event right now is Hartenbauer putting the Zawa Live title. He's been the champion for a little over a year now up against Haven, who they've kind of had a feud going on there for a while. They have a lot of history together, so that's going to be awesome. They just announced the matches. There's a ton of matches, and one of those guys that's going to be wrestling that night, he is a part of those damn Coyotes. And let you guys all know, next week we're going to be dropping an interview on Monday with Brooks Berna, the rabid one himself from Those Damn Coyotes. We're going to be talking about his career. We're going to be talking about Those Damn Coyotes, how he got involved with those guys, and also about the big show coming up in Dixon. So make sure you guys subscribe and get ready for that interview that we're going to be dropping on Mondays. He's going to be coming by the pod, so we can't wait to release that one to you. And then looking after that, AJ and I are headed to Terre Haute, Indiana for the New Wave Pro card called November Rain, and they're also having a vendor fair before the show and during the show, and we're going to be a part of that, so looking forward to that. That's actually on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, so that's what we got coming up in the independent world for November. Let's talk about what's going on in the world of wrestling. We just talked about Crown Jewel happening, so let's get to that, man. Let's start with WWE last week as SmackDown. Gunther defeated, I believe, Rey Mysterio for the to keep the IC title, which was a pretty good match here. I could see Gunther having a really long title reign with this, like maybe even like Honky Tonk status.
Really?
I don't want that.
I don't want it either, but I don't care either way.
Yeah, I could see it just because maybe unless, like, I don't know. I've been thinking about here lately, like a Gunther Roman eventual feud if Roman keeps it. I know you guys aren't into that because
nope, not at all.
But I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking.
If Gunther doesn't have the title, sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When they get to where they want to do the feud, then he can drop the title, and they can do WrestleMania 6 all over. Title versus title, winner take all.
Roman already has 2.
I mean, they would just give him a third. Actually,
I also don't want him to lose to Gunther. Like, he's beaten better men.
I think Solo Sikoa is going to take the title off of Gunther, just to complete the whole bloodline.
Okay, but only if they bring Tamina back for the women's title, then I'm in. I haven't said it in a while. You guys don't have to agree with me.
I know.
It just makes sense.
It's not a bad idea, okay?
Sure.
It's not. It's just.
I'm just not on board.
The Bloodline has no women. It has women in it. They're just not on TV.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
they don't have many options.
What about Naomi?
Yeah, bring Naomi back.
Sure, that works. She's married into the Bloodline.
Exactly.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, so I actually did see somewhere that Solo said he has his eye on those 2 mid-card titles. So
yeah.
Oh my God, they're gonna give both to Solo Sikoa.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, well, he's getting one of those soon. Also, I don't want Gunther to have a long title reign just because there's only so many long title reigns we can have right now. You know,
I know, at one time.
Because we're fickle wrestling fans and we can't have these long runs unless it's somebody like Roman.
It just gets boring.
It's just, I'm not saying that. I'm saying maybe if he was doing it and Roman wasn't,
yeah.
I'm just saying, we got the Usos who are looking at beating the New Day's record, and then you have Roman who's making records right now.
800 days, by the way.
Oh. Yeah, so it's I'd like for one of these titles that we have to just fucking change hands every other month.
Right.
I mean, just
to keep me excited,
Well, apparently that's what the women's tag title is for, as we will soon get to.
Right.
Or Nikki
okay,
Cross's...
let me freeze that about a title I care about.
That's fair.
What I thought was cool was, did you guys see Technical Difficulties that was on the Iron Spirit Pro show last week? They did the spot with Braun Strowman on SmackDown.
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah, Raheem and Moses. Them? Yeah, they took the big whatever it is he does when the train sound comes on and he just blows through everybody.
That was technical difficulty?
Yeah, they were 2 of the 5 or 6 people there, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Can we talk about Seth Rollins for a moment?
Fire away.
Beautiful hair.
Love it.
Yeah, it's lovely. It is lovely. And Hopefully they. I think it'll be better. His last face run was kind of lackluster, which is so bizarre because the crowd is just rabid for Seth Rollins to be a face, and his last face run was kind of it's fine. So, are you guys on board with this face? Because he's clearly a face now, right? Like after, especially his promo on.
Yeah,
whatever day it was.
We've been together 10 years, up and down, the ups and downs, and yeah, it seemed like he kind of pulled in your heartstrings a little bit.
A little bit.
He's still the one I want to beat Roman.
Me too. Absolutely. I am. If it's not going to be Finn Balor or Shinsuke, I want Seth Rollins.
Finish the story, damn it.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, the story's already there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that would be a perfect ending to that whole entire story is Seth Rollins as a super over babyface beating Roman Reigns for the title.
Sure.
Plural. It's not going to happen. It's going to be Gunther. Or fucking Austin Theory.
Let's talk about Crown Jewel results here, unless you guys got anything before we get to that.
Austin Theory.
Yeah.
I liked the cash-in on the U.S. belt. I was like, shake it up a little bit. That's kind of fun. Stupid if you're Austin Theory.
Right.
But still kind of fun.
Yes. Yeah, still failed.
Failed.
But it failed because of Bobby.
Is it even worse of a failure that you didn't fail on the main title? You failed on the mid-card title?
Failed on a mid-card. And not even like the good mid-card title. The secondary mid-card title.
Mid. Yeah. Shelton Benjamin, though, he's back on Raw. I think Triple H is going to be using him more.
I hope so.
So I actually have that in my notes here. So this Raw featured both Cedric and Shelton.
Yeah.
I love Shelton Benjamin.
Feelers getting put out there for the Hurt Business return.
No.
I've seen lots of times that Bobby Lashley would love for them to get back together.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, it makes I would be okay with it just because I like seeing Shelton Benjamin.
They were great.
And it would give him
I
more
also
to do.
like Shelton. Yeah.
Yeah. So I could be okay with that, I guess.
Yeah.
I love that. I think it was Corey that was talking about Shelton's accolades, and I was just like, people forget, man. Like he was part of that class.
Yeah.
And he was in college with Brock and all that stuff.
How about them versus a bloodline? That'd probably be a good faction versus faction storyline.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And believable.
Yeah. And believable for sure. Let's talk about old Bobby here. So the opening match of Crown Jewel. I love this match except for the stinker of the finish. I didn't like the finish of Brock.
I don't even remember
Bobby.
what happened at the end.
They went into the corner and did a little pushback, and Bobby had
Well, it's a smodgy so they could continue the feud.
But his shoulders clearly weren't down. Like
they weren't even
not
down
even close
either. Yeah,
right, because he's like this in a full Nelson.
Right.
I did like the match though.
Well, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's all right.
No, it's okay.
I just want to say, and Brock, Brock went to sleep for him. Like Brock sold the Master Lock, whatever it's called.
Yeah, the Hurt Lock.
The Hurt Lock.
The Master Lock locks up bikes and what have you. It wasn't as stiff as I thought it was going to be. I thought they were going to be like, all right, let's just go out there and beat the fuck out of each other.
Right, yeah.
Which they did to an extent, but at the same time, they didn't.
I really enjoyed the match, though.
Yeah, it was a good match.
My two favorite matches were the opener and the closer.
Yeah, I like this one too. I wasn't mad with either. One of them. Obviously, it just progresses.
I like
that. I love this as
Bobby made him look so strong.
Yeah.
Like
schmozzy finish, and Brock still looked like Brock. Like, yeah, I would be okay with these two fighting again. That, I'm okay with that.
What I was going to say too is I've noticed this lately too. I feel like wrestling in general has gotten sloppy with you were talking about, AJ was talking about like his shoulders being on the mats. Like even just like in regular wrestling, like, you know what I mean? Like, why, like pay attention to, next time you're watching wrestling matches, lately, like just check and look and see if their actual shoulders are down. A lot of times only one of them are. You know what I mean?
Remember back in the day, the ref would slide his hand under?
Yeah, he would. Yeah, that's Tommy Young,
Yeah.
man. He would always check
Yeah.
it. Yeah, to check it, right? Yeah, that those shoulders are down. That's a good point. That doesn't happen anymore, and it should.
Right.
You know, but yeah, referees need to tighten their game up. I need to talk to them about that.
Send him a strongly worded letter.
Right, they should. All right.
Dear refs, get your shit together.
Asuka and Alexa Bliss versus the Kota Kai and Io Sky.
Sure.
Yeah, right.
It's funny because we kind of talked about this. We kind of talked about this. I said it'd be funny if that's what happened, and it ended up happening, even though I still picked the others.
Right.
I seriously just went, sure.
Yeah.
Like, those titles already mean absolutely nothing, and no one
Right.
cares about them. Let's make them mean even less.
Right. And then Nikki Cross come back. She had attacked Bliss out of nowhere, paving the way for Kai to get the pin and regain the women's tag titles for Damage Control. And she's already acting like this, like, loose cannon, kind of a little bit like she was before. I don't know. I wasn't really too excited about her coming back.
I didn't care.
I thought it was
whatever.
cool. I like Nikki Cross, but also 2 weeks ago on Raw, she was also attacking Damage Control. So
yeah, makes sense of that. Sure.
All the women wearing bodysuits, of course, in Saudi Arabia.
Gotta respect Saudi law.
That's right. Karrion Kross and Drew Mack. Drew won. Big win there for it was not much of all a dud. Yeah, but Drew won. I think Primo's the only one that picked Drew here.
Yeah.
I mean, you took Karrion.
Well, yeah, because this is only the second match.
Dud. Absolute dud.
The superplex from the top of the cage though was pretty awesome. That was probably the best spot of the match.
Big old boys too. They're doing.
Like after they did that, I was like, "That's a wasted bump because it's in Saudi Arabia."
It was like a really faint "holy shit" chant after.
Like
that,
we
too.
have, like I feel like a lot of this stuff would have been so much better.
Had it not have the taint of the Saudi Arabia show.
Yeah, it's just like that. I think that alone gave us a sour taste, but it's a stigma. But yeah, this match was meh. I agree. It wasn't anything spectacular.
I thought it just fell flat. It was just like What? It was a wet fart.
OC versus Judgment Day. Judgment Day here. I went with OC here. I thought the good guys would have to eventually get the wins.
I liked this.
They did not. The Rhea factor once again, which OC gets a little addition on Monday.
Little help.
Yep.
The form of Mia Yim.
Mia Yim.
Which is cool. Mia Yim is unique, so I'm excited to.
Is that Keith Lee's wife?
It is Keith Lee's wife.
Yes, Keith Lee's wife. So yeah, I was okay with this. Like whatever. I got to see AJ versus Finn, so it's fine.
Right.
Not exciting, but fine.
Not a bad schedule. He works on Wednesdays. She works on Mondays.
Yeah, it's fine.
How about next? The big hoss fight between Braun and Omos. Braun gets the win.
This is where I went to the
power
bathroom.
slam.
I just know Braun went. I don't know Braun won.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also took a pee break during. Like I didn't even pause it to go.
The only thing I really remember from this match was Omos's attire when he came out. He had this like Mortal Kombat type thing over his shoulders. That completely was unproportionate with his body, which I understand when you're 7 foot whatever. It's kind of hard to make clothing for you. But other than that, I actually didn't pay too much attention to this match. This was definitely my check on the kids, take a piss match.
Sure. How about the Usos versus the Brawling Brutes? This is one of my favorite matches of the night. I thought
I actually forgot about this one. Yeah, it was a good match. Yeah.
Usos retained, of course.
The more and more the Brawling Brutes are on, the more I like them. And then the Usos are the Usos. So they're still, the Usos. They're not, the Usos are not going to put on a bad match. They're just not.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So this was good.
Yeah, the Usos are always good.
Yes.
Excuse me. Because
you're the twos and we the
See, I was singing their praises and you had to ruin it with their stupid fucking catchphrase. That's done.
All right, so Bianca Belair versus Bayley for the Raw Women's title. I think we all thought a title change here. Nope. Bianca retains. Good match, though. I will give this. It's a good match.
These two put on a fantastic match.
This was good.
But I hated it. I hated it so much. I hate Bianca Belair.
No, I don't hate Bianca, but
I do. God, I'm so over her.
But I will say I didn't. I also thought Bayley was going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Are they holding her for a Becky or Charlotte feud? Maybe,
dude. Well,
Why?
she already had a feud with Becky.
Everybody's had a feud with everybody by this point. You know,
except for Bayley, or excuse me, except for Bianca and Charlotte. And
right, but I don't necessarily mean they wouldn't go back to Becky.
I'm just saying.
What are you saying?
I don't want her to beat Charlotte yet.
Who? Bianca?
I'm not saying that at some point she isn't like ready to beat Charlotte.
Sure.
But I'm just saying that, fucking Charlotte is the winningest women's champion of all time.
Right.
She's like the end boss.
You're gonna beat her the first time you face her,
Right. I mean, they still got Ronda with the SmackDown Women's title too, so she's going to get.
No, we don't still have Ronda.
She's just there. She's going to draw one of those two girls.
Let's talk about the women's division on Raw, and then you have Ronda on SmackDown.
Let's talk about
you're
the main
not wrong
event.
with that assessment.
Crown Jewel Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul. Roman retained, of course, but apparently Paul tore his ACL, MCL, something like that, big sprain throughout the middle of the match.
He tore all of them.
Yeah.
Like mid-match, and I couldn't even tell, to be honest.
So,
and he was still doing all kinds of jumps and shit.
So
yeah, let's hear y'all's thoughts on this match.
Let's just have it out.
Do it.
Logan Paul is phenomenal in ring. He did a perfect buckshot lariat. That fucking frog splash was a beauty. I hated that he grabbed the phone before he splashed onto the table, because it's like you're a jerk off, and now we're reminded that you're a jerk off.
It was fun to watch that footage.
I love it though. I love that, because when in the history has that ever happened?
Austin Theory has a phone.
Yes, but has he ever jumped from that turnbuckle to the outside?
Oh,
table?
you mean when have we ever seen that point of view?
Recording it, yeah, and then
yeah, I didn't think about. Yeah, that is.
That's a whole new level of athleticism and coordination that has never happened.
Logan Paul is he was awesome. He was just flat out.
Yeah,
he just gets it apparently, and he's putting the work in, and he's doing everything right for a rookie. I just wish it wasn't Logan Paul. Like, if this was anyone but Logan Paul, I'd be like, holy fucking shit, this guy's my new favorite. Because he's amazing. He's amazing.
So the other day, I also saw this thing. It was a picture of Logan Paul as a little kid, just like the rest of us when we were little kids, holding our makeshift toy belts or whatever. So he's been a fan for a long ass time,
right? Yeah,
and he just gets shit on because he's a YouTube star.
Well, he gets shit on because he's a dirtbag in real life.
I mean, yeah, that's that part too. That part too. I haven't forgot about the Japanese forest, but yeah, but also the rest of just like Pat McAfee, he's a fan that got to go in there and wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, freaking
he's killing
Logan
it.
Paul, yeah. Now keep his brother out of there.
Oh my god! So everything that Logan Paul is in wrestling, Jake Paul is not. Right. He was awkward and slow,
like
and
a baby
horrible.
horse.
Oh my god! His punches. He was like, it was amazing.
Which I get it. They're probably like, go out there in front of Saudi, have fun, do something.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but at least don't embarrass yourself, which he absolutely embarrassed himself. That was terrible.
I mean, he has the fallback that he just beat Anderson Silva in real life. So
again, boxing that doesn't count.
My the drones over the stadium with the different detailed designs that was really cool.
Yeah, they were cool.
Yes.
I hope they do that more for premium live events.
Logan Paul's flip though into the ring when he hit the clothesline was like athleticism.
Perfect.
Like I was
Yeah,
like, God,
buckshot
man,
lariat?
this kid is
Yeah.
like nasty.
It was a better buckshot lariat than.
So I actually saw that somebody put the two, Hangman and Logan, side by
together.
side,
Yeah.
and he timed it just as fast as Hangman does it.
I think it was just as good, if not
Yeah.
slightly better than Hangman.
And then somebody commented on it saying something about how CM Punk tried twice and couldn't do it.
Failed. Just failed.
Yeah, but yeah, awesome match. Yeah, I mean, he continues to impress, and I think a lot of people are gonna he's gonna have to shake off the YouTube asshole kind of gimmick, but I mean that's what he is in real life. I mean, I don't know if he's asshole because I don't know him, and I've never listened to anything he's ever did on YouTube or any of that kind of stuff. So I didn't know anything other than he was just YouTube coming in. I just knew of his brother being in the boxing scene, but a lot of people are going to have to shake off that, look past that YouTube stuff to really accept him. But he is undeniable as a athletic wrestler.
Yeah, I mean he has to silence the haters, and he has.
No,
everybody. I didn't see a single negative comment about him in that match.
Yeah.
I think he needs to do something different with his gear, but I mean that's just a personal thing.
His frog splash is nasty too.
Yeah,
why didn't he get special gear for it?
He's athletic as shit. He's worn the same gear every time. That's the one set of gear he has.
Yeah. Roman needs to switch it up too. Roman needs to get some different colors going on.
He does, but it kind of fits his whole thing then.
Sure, like stick with the Samoan.
Or does he wear
he changed the glove.
Yeah, he changed the glove.
I like when he wore the white gloves too. Those were cool.
Remember he had the gold one?
I like
the one gold one. Mm-hmm. All right, so and then had a little spot with Bray Wyatt where he basically just come out and talked.
Yeah.
So let's smelly mark this thing, boys, all the way top to bottom. What you guys think of Crown Jewel?
So I believe I started with a 2. Like that was my excitement level. I'll go all the way up to a 5 for this. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great.
Right.
It had the stink of being a Saudi show on it, but it's still there were some
we didn't have any Seth on this one either. That was said this is the first time ever Seth hadn't been on a Crown Jewel card.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I give it a 5. 5 smelly stupid.
Good for him.
I know, right? I agree.
So I believe I gave it a 4.
Yeah.
Based off of the opening match, closing match, and the tag team match alone, I'll bump it to a 6, just because those were good matches. But obviously, like I said, Brock doesn't lose in Saudi, and we expected Logan Paul to lose, but I was thankfully, surprised with his performance. I guess I wasn't as surprised with his performance. We've seen him with The Miz, but he did a great job. And
kind of sucks he can't build on this momentum getting hurt.
At what point does he stop becoming a celebrity superstar and becoming a contracted superstar?
Right, like every week, like we see him every week.
Yeah.
Instead of comparing him to Bad Bunny, now we can compare him to some other part-timers.
Anyone else on that roster?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, he just needs more. I mean, he's pretty good on the mic. I just think he just needs more TV time.
Well, yeah, I mean, because he's charismatic as shit. Like that's why he's
lucky punch.
If most people hate him, make him a heel already. He's already being hated. Why not?
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. So everybody, so you don't watch his podcast or his YouTube channel. So the people that interfered in the match, those are his homies from the podcast. Other than Jake, the other two guys.
Yeah. Okay, I see. I mean, only one I seen was a little bit of the one where Roman was on there, and then right after he left, that's kind of when they started the whole hype, so which built up to this match. So, yeah, I'm at a 6 too, man. I enjoyed 2 matches, the front and the back, and I I liked the Usos match with the Brutes, and you know,
I usually like the front and the back.
they still had me reeled in. You know what I mean? So as to what was going to happen, I love the stage. It's always dope as shit. You know what I mean? That's cool.
Yeah, I think that's the Saudi money. The stage, the drones.
The production is top notch.
Yeah.
I'll give it that.
Daytime wrestling, I love it. Love it.
Outside wrestling. Oh, does this change your outside wrestling perspective?
It did. It did. It did skew me a little bit because I didn't really notice that was outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Except for when they did the fireworks and shit like that. So, but yeah, as long as it's dark.
There were the 4 giant pillars with the LED screens on them.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, like, man, it would have really sucked to be right beside one of those.
Oh my god, yes.
Right.
Yeah. Like all show, just super baked.
Right.
All right, so before we go home on WWE, boys, what do y'all think? Is Usos going to break the streak? We're gonna find out here, or is New Day going to steal the titles and keep their streak? Either or is a great story, I think.
I know.
I'm just trying to think which one's
I
the
love
better.
it, and I had this in my notes too. The War of Words between the Usos and New Day was so good until fucking Riddle came out, and I like Riddle, but
right,
he turned a serious segment into a joke.
Right,
and I would have rather this stayed serious.
You want to hit my bong? You want to hit my bong?
I was. For the first time in a long time, I was because I used to not be a Riddle fan, but for the first time in a long time, I was like, "Go away, Riddle. Your presence is not welcome here.
Right.
Shoot."
Right. Yeah,
He
I
did
thought he
shoot.
kind of ruined that segment too. So,
But I think that personally, I'm happy either way. I like the New Day so much too, and I like the Usos so much. Like these are two, I like them both, and they've had such good feuds over the years.
Yeah, it's like they'll always be intertwined, like rock and roll, and Midnight Express.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
New Day, Usos.
And I love it every time. Like they could feud all the time.
Yeah.
Can we talk about one of my favorite promos in the past 50 years that happened on Raw? That would be Asuka.
Asuka and Io?
Yeah, and Io's guy. I loved it so much.
I was like, oh man, they were going back and forth. And
it was so awesome. I loved it so much.
It's like Asuka's got somebody to duel with now.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like to go back and forth.
I love that it got translated too. That was fantastic.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on. Let's go to Impact Wrestling next. I don't know if you guys seen this, but Violent by Design, Eric Young has been trying to, come up with this like new form of Violent by Design. And so he's had these guys in these yellow hoodies for quite a while that's been attacking people. And they finally, 2 of them revealed themselves. One to be Alan Angels, former Dark Order member.
Yeah, Big Con
from the Ascension.
Con.
Yeah.
Connor, yeah.
Yeah, the taller one from the Ascension. The big one. So he is now in Violent by Design. So that was kind of cool. But a lot of this episode was a lot of hype for Frankie Kazarian and Josh Alexander. Like they really got me starting to think them leaning towards they're going to put the belt on Frankie because I don't know, just like I'm probably just falling for it, which is great because that's what I'm supposed to do, right?
I kind of hope they do.
But but they're really like kind of digging in on it. Frankie's, been there in some little like some funky situations and kind of starting to get in Josh's head a little bit. Yeah, I hope they do too. I think it'd be a great little step back. Josh has had a nice run. He's had to light the world on fire. You know what I mean? Yeah. He was hot when he first won it, no doubt. He was, no doubt hot. But I'm pumped for the build up to this.
2 things that I didn't say about Dynamite that are in my notes here. Number 1,
Dynamite. We ain't got to AEW yet.
We didn't? Okay, well that happens on Wednesday before everything else we said.
No, we went WWE and then Impact. We're doing AEW
okay.
next.
My notes are in chronological order.
Ah,
Right.
okay.
Right. But when we have a pay-per-view, I always lead off with whichever one.
And also we talked about Double J earlier. That's why I thought we talked about it.
Uh-huh.
Well, let's jump on over there then. So, what are you guys' thoughts on old Slapnuts in AEW? He got his old My World theme too.
He did My World.
Yeah.
Yeah. This TNA song.
Oh my gosh.
So I was surprised, and I was just like, okay.
That was my exact reaction. I was just like,
interesting move, AEW.
Yeah.
Not that he's a bad dude, but it's like
no. But
wet popcorn fart.
Right. Like I like Jeff Jarrett, but he's come intertwined with a lot of controversy throughout the years, and they're trying to dig themselves out of the reputation cellar right now. You know what I mean?
So last week
they
Tony
got
Khan
Jeff
said-
Jarrett. They went and got Jeff Jarrett.
He reported to Brian Alvarez last week that AEW Dynamite was going to have something big happen, and then the AEW Dynamite was over, and I was like,
"Wait, what was it?
What was the big thing?" Well, don't tell me it was Jarrett.
It was.
Yeah, that's a definite Tony Khan kind of.
My other notes were that number one, Rick Ross had me cracking up. I was laughing a lot at him.
Oh God! See, I rolled my eyes at that too. I was like,
and then I was just laughing, like, "What are you doing here?" But then,
right?
Is this the most over that Billy Gunn has been since New Age Outlaws?
Absolutely, it is.
Since New Age Outlaws, yes.
This is the most over he's ever been with me ever.
Scissor me, daddy ass.
Well, yeah,
Big daddy
he was
ass.
once one of the most popular wrestlers in the world in the '90s, but
Yeah, and
it's
I
so
hated
great,
him.
man. He's having a resurgence again. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah. And then my last note for Dynamite was that House of Black vignette was really cool.
That was, yeah, I like that too. What's another thing about Billy Gunn is the dude ain't even taking no bumps hardly.
No,
at least we ain't seeing on TV, and he's just over with this like scissor me shit.
At this point, he's everyone's daddy.
Right.
He looks like he could take some bumps still without even skipping a beat. Yeah, he's a.
I like the fact that Colton and Austin come out and he's like, "Well, he's our dad."
Yeah. Right. Well, maybe you shouldn't attack them assholes.
Right.
I like seeing Colt Cabana. That was cool. Glad to see him back.
I wish that he would have gotten a bigger pop.
Me too.
The crowd was kind of.
I don't remember where they were.
I don't remember where they were either.
Not in Cleveland.
Clearly not Chicago.
Clearly not Chicago.
Not in
he
Chicago.
Got there for sure. Well, let's see. Oh, wait. No, they weren't. Never mind. I was thinking the St. Louis, but that was WWE. But yeah, I was glad to see him. Of course, he was the surprise. He was a former Ring of Honor tag team champion. Jade Cargill, she's up to what 41-0. I think it's what it is now.
Yeah.
They're still keeping tabs on that, but I'm kind of most excited about Ricky being back.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I was super excited to see him.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. This needs to be the start of his push here. I hope so. The promo sounded like it. Well,
like yeah, he finally mentioned he's gonna try and become the number one contender for the AEW title. Which sweet. He's
entered himself
get him in there.
Entered himself into the tournament that's coming up for Full Gear.
Get him in there.
Yeah, I like it too. But and also fucking Hobbs and Wardlow. That's going to be a nice big man feud. I think.
I kind of want Hobbs to win.
I think a nice drawn out feud wouldn't be bad to put the TNT title on him, and then Wardlow could go do something else. But Wardlow and Samoa Joe are getting ready to fall out. They're about to. They already cut knives at each other. Samoa Joe was anyway.
Well, that's good because Wardlow has cooled off considerably without having MJF there to play off of.
I mean, I think it's also an exposure thing.
Sure.
Yeah, a little bit.
Sure.
That's
all I got for AEW. Boys, got anything else?
Nope. A lot of
no.
I noticed that during AEW, both Dynamite and Rampage, I was like,
I read my very first note, and I never read it to you guys yet.
What was
about AEW. It was just about Double J. So I literally wrote, as soon as I saw Double J, I thought of how excited AJ must be.
God fucking damn it. And I was like, okay. Double HE, double ET, double R, double testicles. I don't get like fuck off, Double J.
Double TTT. All right, let's move on, boys. It's time for the Dropkick discussion of the week. Here we go.
Yeah, I agree. NXT was mediocre.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was. I wasn't even going to talk about it.
Other than Dominic Dijakovic coming soon.
Yes. He needs that repackage. That would work.
Hey guys, this is Mr. Havens, the Argyle assassin himself, giving them all the shivers.
This is the one and only Mike Hartenbauer.
This is Space Jesus, Billy Starks.
This is referee Dan Perch.
What's up, bozos? This is Trevor Outlaw. You can address me as yours rudely. And you're listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast.
You guys are listening to Sit Down Marks podcast.
You're listening to Sit Down Marks podcast.
Come celebrate pro wrestling right here on the Sit Down Marks podcast.
With DB, Primo, and AJ.
With DB, Primo, and AJ.
With Primo, DB, and AJ.
And you're listening to DB, Primo, AJ here on the Sit Down Marks podcast, the best podcast for professional wrestling.
All right, today's Dropkick discussion of the week. A little incident that happened in WCW Nitro, January the 4th, 1999, in the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's talk about what happened during the infamous finger poke of doom. Now, I sent the match over to the boys, and we all watched it, if you want to call it a match.
The match.
Yeah. Infamously, this very same night that this happened on January the 4th, 1999, this all went down. AJ just mentioned it. I believe it was last week. This was the same night that Tony Schiavone revealed to the world that Mick Foley was going to win the WWF title. He goes, so don't worry, fans. You can just stay right here and watch WCW Nitro tonight. You know, Foley's going to win the title. And that totally backfired because roughly 500,000 people switched over to watch Foley win the WWF title, and then the ratings shifted back to WCW 5 minutes to go in the show when Goldberg was already starting to get beat down after the match was over. So totally screwed themselves. You know, I don't know. It might have been for better or worse. I don't know. You know, at least maybe 500,000 people didn't see this crock of shit, which was the finger poke. But otherwise, you know, we'll see how that all balanced out. But this particular incident between Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash was deemed as the beginning of the end of WCW. It's often been deemed as WCW in a nutshell. It's often been deemed as why WCW lost the Monday Night Wars. Okay? So, quick little back notes here, and then we'll talk about it. So, Kevin Nash had just beat an undefeated Goldberg in December, just before this show, Nitro, in January, to win the WCW title. Basically, Hogan had retired. He was starting to come back here because him and Nash had been feuding for a little while. Now, Nash was Wolfpack Red. He was babyface. He was the leader of NWO Wolfpack, and Hogan was the leader of Hollywood NWO Black as the heels. So they had like their little feud going on. Scott Steiner came out with Hogan because Scott Steiner was kind of running NWO Black after Hogan had pseudo retired or whatever. So he was kind of the leader. So he came out as a representation of supporting Hulk Hogan, and then as a surprise to support Kevin Nash coming to the ring, which they totally botched this, right? Because Michael Buffer, is still introducing Kevin Nash when Scott Hall comes walking out in the middle of him like you could not wait like 5 more seconds to let Michael Buffer, who's probably getting paid $1 million to say the main event tonight, right? Couldn't have waited 5 more seconds, and then Scott could have come out and got the pop that he deserved, but it was just all a big. So Scott Hall comes back. He's wearing the Wolfpack red to show that he's supporting Kevin. So he's come back. The crowd, I think, is kind of the music's still going on. So you don't really know. They're kind of surprised. They're kind of cheering. But he comes back, and then so the outsiders have returned. Okay, and then so. Like I said, Nash and Hogan had been in a feud for about 8 to 9 months. Now they both are in the ring, okay, for the match is about to start. Bell rings, you got Hogan still in like his all black. Like we should have known something was up because Hogan was basically looked like in street clothes, right? You know what I mean? So, but with the black tight shirt, pants. So they start circling the ring with each other, kind of eyeballing each other. Well, Nash pushes Hogan into the corner. Hogan, they starts looking around. We starting to get hyped. This match is about to start. Wolfpack Red versus NWO Black. Right. Yeah. We're sort of about to go at it. Right. And then Hogan pokes Nash with his finger on Nash's chest. Nash takes a bump. Like he's probably never the hardest bump he's probably ever taken. Like he sells it like a cannonball hit him in the chest, I think was the actual words that they used to say about how great he sold this finger poke of doom. So basically, Nash lays out, Hogan jumps on top of him, referee counts 1, 2, 3. So this was WCW's way of putting the NWO back together, getting rid of the red. I think they all eventually went back to the black, the original. This is the way they all kind of got back together. So the NWO is going to reunite here. They're going to spray paint the belt, but this time they're going to spray paint the WCW World Heavyweight Championship belt in red instead of black. So they're holding that up. The crowd's chanting, "We want Sting." Sting's not coming out and doesn't. But so NWO is once again together. Lex Luger comes out later on too to celebrate with the guys, and you see Goldberg running like he gets out of a car and he's running into the arena, runs all the way into the ring. NWO starts messing him up, and you think Lex Luger is going to help Goldberg, but he starts stomping on Goldberg as well. So he's back in the NWO too. So it's a real big reuniting, regathering, so to speak, of the NWO. The crowd starts throwing shit in the ring, which they totally deserved. To a lot of people, this particular incident made a mockery of wrestling. It pissed off every purist ever, that enjoyed wrestling. It really was, I think, the beginning of the downfall of WCW. And so, yeah, just an awful depiction, a terrible way to rejoin the NWO back together. This night, they probably should have known was just depicted to be the worst because because they started out with the with Shivani saying that Foley was going to win. So the night started off bad. So it was just a bad night all the way around. People turned back over after Foley had won the match to see Goldberg getting jumped and beat up, and they spray painted him with the NWO. So yeah, just an awful mess. Scott Hall was tasing him with the pseudo fake taser, yada yada. But yeah, just a big pile of shit. So what do you guys think?
Well, glad you summed all that up because I didn't want to. So at this point in my wrestling fandom, I had already, because for a long time, like I was going back and forth, WCW, WWF, back and forth. But at this point, I was firmly already back in WWF. I was so sick of NWO. I was so sick of the Wolfpack. I was so sick of Scott Steiner saying, because we are holler if you hear me, and fucking, I hated all of it.
I got your pickup.
Holler if, like, shut the fuck, you're not Master
Big Dad, yeah, Big Bad Booty Daddy's got your hookup.
Yeah. Oh, we bowdy and rowdy. Shut the fuck up.
No,
Anyways.
No. That was Conan.
I know that was Conan, but I hated that too. I was sick of hearing the NWO music literally 12 times every single. Oh my god! So I was already well off WCW at this point, and I remember, I was one of those people that switched over to watch Mick Foley.
Heck yeah!
And I didn't switch back. So I didn't find out what happened until, a little bit later.
And I had the VCR going. I was recording.
Yeah. And I was like, fucking good. I'm like, I'm glad this happened because I'm so sick of it. Now they can just be done with it. And looking back on it now, like WCW was already dead. It was just going to get deader as, they hire Vince Russo, who just kills companies because he's awful. But yeah, this is the NWO storyline was so played out and so stale that it was inevitable that it died, and it took a truly WCW moment to officially kill it, and that is what this was. Like you said earlier, that this is like the most WCW thing ever. Yeah, right. It absolutely is. It's like a combination of this and the fact that Vacant held the title during Vince Russo's tenure there like 4 different times. So it's a combination of those two things. But yeah, I hate it. I hated it. I hated it so much. I hate it now. I hated it then. So good. Go away, WCW. You are a shitty company.
And they did.
Yeah, they did. Very soon afterwards.
What'd you think, Primo?
So it is hilarious that this happened at the same time Mankind's win the title, even though it was taped. Anyway, it's the same time it was being broadcast. It's in the fact that Tony Schiavone announced the results, and everybody is like, "Well, fuck this! I want to go see that."
Right.
But the funniest thing to me was when I rewatched it because I didn't see this live. I saw it after the fact, but when we all rewatched the video this week, I was listening to Tony Schiavone, and during the match after the bell rings, he says, before the poke actually happens, he says, "This is what WCW is all about, folks. This is live."
Right. Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
Like 10 seconds later, the finger poke happens.
Yep, it was such a stab, man. It was, oh man, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
And then it was supposed to be Goldberg's rematch, and he got out of jail before the match took place. And they made it this thing where it was it was this long thing where the police were escorting him back to the ring, but the freaking police station's actually right across from the arena.
Yeah.
And right. Yeah, it was right across the arena. Made no sense. Like he didn't make it back in time. I remember that.
Yeah, so I don't recall seeing it live. This is probably one of the many times during my childhood that I didn't have cable. However, watching it later on, I did think it was stupid and a complete waste and insulted everyone, all the wrestling fans that were there live. I couldn't imagine being there live.
Oh.
Paying your money for that.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, so
especially when you're expecting to see Goldberg, like, come have a match and see that.
Sure.
Instead, they just cattle prod him and spray paint him. Okay, so what's worse? This or when Jeff Jarrett just went into the ring and laid down for Hulk Hogan? Do you remember that? And then Hogan got on the mic.
I do, because I was thinking about both of them, actually, because the other one was with Vince Russo, wasn't it?
I think this
the other one was Vince Russo.
Yeah.
I think this one was worse. They had a big match in their hands.
I do think this was worse.
Yeah.
The other one was Jeff Jarrett talked about it on the Broken Skull sessions, actually. It was a whole creative thing, and they were all pissed, but whatever. This one was stupid. And It's pretty widely thought of, as you mentioned, as the beginning of the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Yep, definitely for all the reasons that we just talked about. Yeah, one of the big black eyes of WCW too, man. So when they like sometimes when I see this kind of shit right here, I'm like, man, y'all deserved it. You know what I mean? Like this was just like nobody, blew the whistle, the alarm. Like we can't do this. You know what I mean? Let's do it some other way. And I remember. Like I don't remember the exact night, but I remember like watching during this time. I would watch Nitro up until WWF came on, and then I would record the rest of Nitro. And then, so if WWF went off early, I would flip back and just see what was going on in the main event or if it was over. Because back then, it like was kind of the beginning of when it ran past the time slot. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I remember flipping back, Goldberg's being jumped on. And I'm like, oh, what just happened? And then I go back and rewind and watch to see how they got there, and I'm like, oh man, that's so awful.
Oh,
yeah. So you got Mankind and Rock, and then up against it we got Red versus Black, NWO, Hogan versus Nash. You think you got two solid main events there? One was great, and one was one of the biggest duds in history.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Basically, they were trying to make a NWO resurgence that sucked.
Yeah,
it's one of those where you're like, not that you would ever be, if you were watching that with like a non-wrestling fan, it's one of those where you'd be like,
they're looking at you like, really?
You're like, this is why I don't watch this shit.
Yeah.
Yes, right. I enjoy this.
Right.
All you're doing is proving them right. Like it's not what you want them to see.
No, not at all.
All right, so next week, boys, we're going to be doing the flip side here. We're going to be talking about when Scott Hall actually invaded WCW and came to Nitro. So it was kind of the beginning of the Monday Night Wars when Scott Hall came back. So we're going to go back and watch that, talk about where we were when we seen this, what we thought was actually happening, and then we'll talk about how it holds up it almost changed. It basically changed the landscape of wrestling by Scott Hall coming over, and then Nash came over, and then was we were off to the races in the Monday Night War. So we'll talk about that.
What does he say? He say,
in the beginning,
you don't know, or he says, you don't know why I'm here. Yeah, you know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here.
Yeah. And it was really cool. So we're gonna go back and talk about that moment in time. One of the I guess you could probably say brighter spotlights of WCW. So let's move on, boys. It's time. Let's see who extended their streak or did not in the King of the Mountain. Let's go, Lemmy.
Or not. Not's fine as well.
All right, Lemmy was lost for a moment.
Time to play the game.
Lemmy needs to put down the peanut butter cookies, whatever the fuck you eating again all goddamn pod.
No, this is the first time I've eaten today.
I was eating earlier.
All right, boys. So AJ is the current King of the Mountain with a streak of 6. Coming into this week, AJ was at 0, Primo was at 0, I was at 2. Last week we had a pick of some women's hoops. We had the Evansville Purple Aces, which was wrestling related with Jack Evans versus the Eastern Kentucky Colonels, which was affiliated with Chuck Taylor's from Kentucky. AJ and myself went with Eastern Kentucky, while Primo went with Evansville. Now, quick little tidbit of information, boys. One of our avid listeners from Top Rope Baking is Tori, her shoot name, with Top Rope Baking, best cookies in wrestling. She actually went to Evansville College. She is a Purple Ace herself, and she said that she is on the side of Primo with this one, with taking Evansville.
Thank you. I'm also a fan of Baker's Tori.
Oh, Primo, you've got to have some of these cookies. They're amazing.
I mean, look at me. Clearly, I love food. I love baking.
Had I known that,
sure,
I still would have gone with Colonel Rob Parker.
Had I known that, I'd never go against Tori in anything. I would have picked Evansville. But let's see where we're at here. We had, like I said, AJ and I took Eastern Kentucky. Primo took Evansville. Final score, Evansville 89, Eastern Kentucky 81. So my streak goes to 0. AJ will stay at 0. Primo will get off the schneid up to 1. Very good job as the Evansville Purple Aces come out with the W. So congrats, Primo, and congrats, Tori, to her alma mater.
Dude, I've been on a losing streak for like, I don't even know, 9 weeks or something?
Yeah, it's been 9 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been at 0 for a long time.
Right, yeah. So I'll go back to 0. AJ is 0. Primo will start the climb at 1. Let's talk NCAA hoops again this week, boys. But we're going to change it up just a little here, okay? Let's talk about it, okay? So we got NCAA hoops. I believe the game is on Friday. So we got the Green Bay Phoenix, which we all know Mr. Kennedy is from Green Bay, Wisconsin.
But they're called the Green Bay Phoenix. Why would you not go Green Bay Phoenix?
Yeah. Kennedy!
Versus the Georgetown Hoyas. Now, this game is taking place in Washington, D.C. at the Capital One Arena. Now, the Georgetown Hoyas. Sorry?
The Hoyas. I think you guys said the horse.
The Hoyas.
Georgetown Hoyas.
Georgetown Hoyas.
So we could go Georgetown.
Happening like right down the road from me. I can go to this game.
Right. So we could go George the Animal Steel here. We could go Gorgeous George South. Lots of Georges in wrestling, right? All right. So we're not picking a winner here, boys. We're going to pick the over-under line.
Oh,
the over-under for this is 145 points. So combined collectively between the Georgetown Hoyas and the Green Bay Phoenix, will their combined scores be under 145 or be over 145?
Over.
Primo's taking the over. I will take the over as well.
I will. You know what? Let's go under.
AJ
just to be different.
I mean, the game we just talked about was 89 to 81.
Yeah, but this is the Georgetown Hoyas.
This is true.
And I've never heard of either one of these teams, and I live right near that arena. That's the arena I went to. That's the arena I go to for the house shows and stuff.
Yeah, wait, you've never heard of Georgetown? Allen Iverson?
No, Georgetown. Yes, Georgetown. I'm talking about the Hoyas.
That's who Georgetown is.
I am aware of that. I didn't know they had a mascot. I didn't know they had a mascot. Period.
It's a bulldog.
It is a bulldog.
Yeah.
So congrats, Primo, getting off the schneid. See if you can take down.
Schneid.
You need 5 more picks to tie AJ at the King of the Mountain. So now it's time for everybody's favorite segment. AJ is back. Let's do it. Cookies.
AJ's book report by the guy who made The Miz the most annoying wrestler in WWE of the week.
All right.
Thank you for that, Robot Man. Because it's true.
What a guy.
I have today a book.
Big Apple Takedown.
It's called Big Apple Takedown, featuring the lovely Tori Wilson on the cover.
Oh.
And it's by the guy who wrote one of the Marine movies. That's why, hence the Miz. It's when his whole It couple thing, because he was in Hollywood movies and blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going to read the back of this really quick because this just came yesterday. I've been looking forward to this for weeks now. It's going to be it's going to be amazing. But I'm going to read the back of it.
Let's hear it.
Whew. Vince McMahon steps out on a snowy night into a diner in upstate New York for a meeting with old friend Phil Thompson, now a highly placed government official. Thompson has a strange proposition, creating a new covert black ops group using the superstars of the WWE.
Oh
WWE's talented men and women are perfect, highly skilled athletes with the ideal cover. They travel all across the country and the globe. No one would find it unusual to find them in a town one day and gone the next. The government would train and support the wrestlers in any way possible except one. No one could know the truth. Superstars have been handed their latest assignment, take down take down a commercial-grade methamphetamine plant
God.
that is bankrolling terrorist activities in Europe. Their mission seems simple and straightforward until a member of their team is taken prisoner. Now all that they've worked so hard for is in jeopardy, and one of their own might be killed. You have no idea the amount of bollocks that I am looking forward to in this book. They're assassins. John Cena is an assassin in this book. Batista. Look, there's Batista up there. Booker T. Look at
Right. Triple H.
Triple H. Triple
Big
H,
Apple
the covert operative.
Yeah,
I cannot wait.
Because no one would think twice because they would be in town and leave town with no, with a blink of an eye. So
Exactly. It's perfect, Primo. The perfect cover.
Right.
Luckily,
they approach Vince McMahon with this idea.
well, yeah, because Phil Thompson, his old friend, is a high-ranking government official.
Of course he is.
So,
Yeah.
so I will have a full report on this book next week. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait to read it. It's going to
side boob there.
Yeah, look at it. Got some underboob and little side boob.
my other joke I said earlier.
Yeah. What did Hugh Hefner and fucking guy who wrote Marine have in common?
Please do let us know how the book turns out.
Oh, it's gonna be. Luckily, I'm a fast reader, so because it's gonna be just absolute nonsense.
Oh yes.
So at least I won't waste too much of my life reading this book.
Okay, after you're done, I want you to tell me this or the Scooby-Doo show. Or the Scooby-Doo movie.
The murder mystery in like WrestleMania Town or whatever
Yes,
the fuck
yes,
it was
yes,
called,
yes.
where they fought the Ghost Bear.
Yeah.
Ghost Bear is gonna be hard to beat,
Right.
but I think this might give it a run for its money.
All right. You make sure you come back and let us know, AJ.
Absolute. I can't wait.
All right, buddy. Why don't you plug that merch, man?
We have merch. You can buy merch. It's at www.tpublic.com/stores/sit-down-marks, where you can buy t-shirts, sweatshirts, notebooks, baby clothes, other things that you want to buy. And again, that site is tpublic.com/stores/sit-down-marks.
It's game show music time. Let's do this. It's Dirty Bird versus Lucha Daddy. All right. AJ's the host today. Take it away there, pal. Let's do this.
Today we will be playing Squared Circle questions, where I will ask, I don't know how many questions. I have 5 questions. So.
Well, I need a pen.
No, you can shout them out. Actually, yeah, get a pen.
Shout.
So,
Shout at the
a couple of these are kind of easy because when I wrote them, I was like, yeah, it's so clever. But then after I just reread them, I'm like, okay, this is going to be so obvious, but whatever. So again, we have the 3 categories: pay-per-view, wrestler, and potpourri. So, since Dirty, you never get to play, what would you like first?
I always like to get the hard one out of the way, what I think. So let's go pay-per-view first.
Pay-per-view first, which I thought was going to be hard, but it is not.
Okay.
This particular
Not hard
pay-per-view.
when you know it, when you're reading it.
Well, you guys are going to get it pretty quickly. All right, I'm just going to... First, this is the debut of Undertaker, where his streak officially began.
Okay.
Virgil defeated Ted DiBiase by countout.
Survivor Series 92.
No.
WrestleMania 7.
Hit the ding.
Oh, yeah, you said streak. You said streak. I didn't hear that part.
Against
I was thinking
Starts.
debut.
Main event is Hulk Hogan defeating Sergeant Slaughter. They had to move to a different arena because They said it was a bomb threat, but no one bought tickets to this nonsense. So they had to.
That was the real reason.
The LA Coliseum or whatever, it's seated like 100,000. They sold like 8,000 tickets.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, there's a bomb threat, so we're gonna move it on. So yes, WrestleMania 7 is correct. And
Lucha Daddy.
I'm sorry, Lucha Daddy now has 1
All right,
point.
Lucha Daddy heard he was called out by DB. He had to make an appearance.
Yeah.
Lucha Daddy,
His
would you
name.
like wrestler or potpourri?
Let's go ahead and get that wrestler out of the way.
Say his name and he will appear. I
Beetlejuice.
believe in Joe Hendry.
This person was born February 3rd, 1960, from Columbus, Georgia. Debuted September 28th, 1983. He is a one-time Intercontinental Champion, a one-time WWF Tag Team Champion, and was one half of the Tag Team of the Year in 1989. Real name is Frederick. There's 2 other clues that I could give you, but I'm pretty sure that'll give it away.
Let's stew on that for a minute.
Okay. I wish I had like a little stopwatch. Born in 1960. from
Don't
Columbus,
look at your
Georgia.
computer, Primo.
I'm not. I was gonna put some crickets on while we wait, but
go ahead. Just go ahead with the first one. I mean, obviously, neither one of us know it.
So he was officially a one-time tag team champ with the 1-2-3 Kid as his tag partner. He was one half of a tag team that actually won the belts on a house show, but there was a ring break or a rope break, so they're like, we'll record it later on, you guys winning the belts, and then just never went back to it.
fuck, I know who this is.
We just talked about this not long ago, didn't we?
We did. Yes,
Yeah.
we did.
Let's see what else I can get for you. He was in 2 iterations of the same tag team with a different partner each time.
God, why am I drawing a blank?
He is a part of one of the most famous heel turns of all time.
Scott Hall.
Shawn Michaels. Marty Jannetty. It's Jannetty.
Little thing.
Yeah.
Yes, it
I
is
know it's
Marty.
not Scott Hall. I just put a name out there. Obviously,
Frederick
it's not Scott
Martin
Hall.
Jannetty.
I say I never knew what his shoot name was.
Frederick. It's Freddie Jannetty.
Freddie Jannetty.
That's a terrible name.
It is
Little
awful.
Freddie Jannetty.
Marty sounded
Freddie
way better.
Jannetty. All right, 1 point Primo, 1 point Dirty Bird.
1-1.
Ding,
All right,
ding.
we're just gonna go with this now.
Oh man.
You got markers? Got pens?
Dude,
got
let's
something?
do it.
How
How
have
many-
A pen. Hold on, I don't have a paper.
Right on your hand or something.
Okay.
So, including the NXT title, how many total title reigns in WWE has Seth Rollins had? And that's every title.
Okay.
Go ahead, show when you're ready.
Okay.
Dirty Bird has 12. Primo has 9. Dirty Bird is closer. The answer is 15.
Ooh.
Oh fuck.
Ooh.
15 title runs. NXT champion, tag team
Thank you.
champion Roman Reigns, US champion twice, Universal champion twice, Raw tag team champion 5 times, Intercontinental champion twice, and Raw tag team champion 4
I didn't
times.
count that many tags.
Yeah, he was-
Racking them up.
Yeah, so he also has 2 world heavyweight champions. So 15 title reigns for Mr. Rollins there.
Nice.
Speaking of titles,
Okay.
so it's 2-1, right? Yeah, 2
Yep.
to 1. What main belt has John Cena never held? You don't have to write this one down. You can.
Intercontinental belt.
I think Lucha Daddy said IC
Lucha Daddy
before
said
Intercontinental.
He abbreviated and got it.
And I even wrote it down right here.
I think we might need to check. Well, I mean, I knew that one off the bat. I was
base
already
tape.
writing it down. Might need to check the tape on that one.
I also wrote
I'll
down
give it
IC.
to him out of controversy because he thinks you screwed him out of the trophy.
That timer was rigged.
Yeah, see.
2-2, down to match point.
2-2 with an asterisk.
We're going to go back to
No
WrestleMania 7 in Undertaker's first match. Who was his first opponent at a WrestleMania that he beat to start the streak?
Gonzalez.
Nope, that was number 2.
Damn it!
Yokozuna?
No.
Nails.
No. Nails.
His first opponent?
His first WrestleMania victory.
Sid.
Nope.
Savio Vega.
Nope.
Shit up at this point.
You have to start coming with hints now.
He has a child that has been active in WWE recently. I don't know if this person is still active. I don't think they are.
Oh.
This opponent allegedly murdered someone.
It's not Superfly Snuka.
Superfly Jimmy Snuka, which means Primo wins 3-2.
Lucha Daddy.
Asterix. I'm calling Asterix on the IC belt. We got to go back on the replay. I want to hear the audio.
I think I heard IC before I heard
I said
Intercontinental. Primo is the winner, 3-2.
Good job, Primo! Lucha Daddy! Winner of Square Circle questions today.
Thank you.
Taking down Mr. Bird.
Taking down
you call out the Lucha Daddy, the Lucha Daddy shows up. Even if asterisk or not,
kicks butt and leaves. That's what he does.
That's right.
All right, Lucha Daddy, Primo, you got some headlines for us today, sir?
I do. So, AEW, this is great news. AEW Fight Forever is set to release day 1 on Xbox Game Pass.
The game's called Day 1?
No. AEW Fight Forever is
on.
releasing day 1, like first day, opening day.
Oh, gotcha.
On Xbox Game Pass, which is awesome because I wasn't intending on actually buying it. So I'll get to play it now without having to pay for it.
Oh, I still have to pay for it, which I'm going to.
Oh, you PlayStation peasant.
Yeah. I just recently got a PS5 too, so I get the upgraded version.
I mean, I want a PlayStation as well, but that's for a conversation for me and Mrs. Primo. Anyway, next up. That's
no
good.
Spoiler.
That's cool.
I want some cookies. That's also a conversation between me and Mrs. Primo.
You want cookies?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So yeah, I was never really like, I've seen the gameplay footage and stuff. Like, I was gonna let it have some time and maybe catch it later on sale. Like, I never intended on buying it day 1, but now since it's releasing on Game Pass and I'm a Game Pass subscriber, why not?
How much is Game Pass a month?
A month? It's like $100 a year, isn't it?
I don't know what it is per year, but I use Ultimate, which covers This is $10 for you, Xbox and Microsoft, but $16 for Game Pass Ultimate, which covers my PC, my Xbox, and my Gold subscription.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Next up, MJF has been cast to play in the movie The Iron Claw.
Yeah, that's why he's been written off TV for a while.
Yeah,
he's going to be Kevin Von Erich.
People are saying he's going to be Lance.
Oh, Lance
Von Erich,
Lance.
Yeah. Zach's going to be Kevin.
Yeah. So that's pretty neat. He shows up on stage and just fucking totally dogs Zac Efron.
Okay, that makes sense now why he's got so ripped.
Ripped, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's going
That's
to
the
go to
first thing I
Hollywood.
thought of. Yeah, first thing I thought of was like, man, that's why he's been so shredded. Other than the fact maybe he just cares about his health and diet, but movie
Nobody
role.
does that.
Movie
No,
role.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
So next up, in my headlines, this one's kind of funny and also wouldn't touch this one with a stick,
All right.
Ric Flair, woo! Of all people.
Space Mountain.
Of all people.
Mount Everest.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
Put
Oldest
some flair
ride
down
down
there.
line.
Woo wings.
Mount Everest. So anyway, Ric
Flair
Flair
wing.
of all people called out JBL for being a bully and knocks on WWE for inducting him into the Hall of Fame. Meanwhile, Rick, you have 2 Hall of Fame rings from WWE.
And there's a little thing called the Flight from Hell.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I don't know why you're the maybe he shouldn't have touched this.
No,
but...
he's not the moral authority to bring this point up.
Right.
No, if John Cena wanted to touch this, sure.
Yeah, right.
This is where Ric Flair needs to be like Homer in that GIF and just slide back into the bushes.
yeah. Just seen but not heard. Yeah.
Right. Oh,
because as soon as I saw it, I was like, "What? You shouldn't have said anything." Because
you ain't the one.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man. So next up, Lady Frost. She's been granted her release from Impact Wrestling. I know she's been trying to get it for a while now, and she also hasn't been featured on Impact TV. So she's finally been granted that release.
Hooray for Lady Frost.
Yeah, she's on the indies a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then finally, on the WWE website, I know you guys were so excited to see this on Monday Night Raw. The 24/7 Championship has officially been retired.
Aww. Now what's R-Truth going to do?
For the 24/7, 7-Eleven, 365 Championship was 2019 to 2022.
Wah, wah.
Nikki Cross won it, and then she trashed it. She threw it in the trash, right?
Ah, that's a little
she missed, actually, but
action.
Yeah, oh, she missed? Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course she did.
Oh, my God. Of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a documentary coming out on Peacock about Teddy Hart.
Yeah.
That should be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That should be interesting.
I saw that.
Dangerous something? Mr.
Yeah.
Dangerous,
I can't wait to see. I just saw an ad for that today, actually.
Yeah. Especially knowing the history. I've seen Teddy wrestle a lot, especially live. Especially when he's made his comeback not long ago. Yeah. That should be interesting.
Yeah. Hart still. Wait, no, that's not it.
Yeah, I saw that on. Somebody had posted it in Squared Circle.
Yeah.
And,
So that should be
Dangerous Breed is the name
there
of it.
There you go. Yep. It's
that's gonna be fascinating
stories. Yeah, for sure.
I also saw that. I didn't put this in my headlines. I just kind of skimmed by it because I didn't get too many details on it. But they are already planning on the next season of Dark Side of the Ring, and Jim Ross, good old JR, has said that he is returning for an episode about the Junkyard Dog.
Oh,
heck yeah!
Nice.
JYD, baby, the patron saint.
He is. I need my JYD shirt on right now.
Love JYD.
Somebody bought some Thump t-shirts today. I got an email for it.
Really?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I love it.
Was it one DDB?
I mean, I only texted you guys about it. Scroll up, read the text. Scroll up, read the text. Inside joke.
Yep.
All right, let's roll on, Primo. Give us that preview of next week, brother.
Preview of next week is...
This is Space Jesus Billy Starks, and you're listening to Sit Down Mark's podcast with Primo, DB, and AJ.
So close.
I got you.
Close.
It wasn't even my preview, and I still fucked it up.
I knew what I was doing.
Oh my god.
Okay, so
Jesus.
Early next week, we're going to drop our great interview with Those Damn Coyotes member, the rabid one himself, none other than Berna. He stops by the pod to talk about his young career and also talk about his match with the Coyotes as they take on APA and Big Picture at the season 11 finale in Dixon on November 19th in Dixon, Illinois, sponsored by the Sit Down Marks podcast. That will release on Monday or Tuesday at the latest next week. Then later in the week, the Marks get together to talk when Scott Hall invaded WCW. And how the wrestling landscape changed after that, for sure. It was monumental. I will be back with my famous music class segment where DV will probably once again dominate AJ because you know he is the cage match, death match, music class champion.
Woo!
But you never know. Once. 1, 2, 3 kid pinned Razor on Raw, so this could happen too, but unlikely.
He was just called the Kid then.
In other words,
but unlikely.
In other words, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. Oh man. Lastly, we will preview AEW Full Gear matches so far and WWE Survivor Series matches as well. See you all here next week. 2 big pods for your ear consumption coming at you next week. Love ya. Mean it. See you here next week. Good night, Thomas Bryce. I love you.
Good night, Thomas Bryce.
All right. Any last notes here? AJ, I think you got a last note for us here today. What do you got?
Wait, what?
Wait, you're being sus.
Hold on. Wait, hold on. Yes, thank you for asking. I do have a last note.
Okay, thank you. I thought you did. I mean, we talked about how you did. All right, so the last note, AJ. So last week, so we work with Iron Spirit Pro, right? So last week, and I guess like all in the future now, we have been mispronouncing Steve Cease, his last name. We've been saying it wrong. We've been saying Sus, Cease. This guy is the voice of Iron Spirit Pro, so we want to make sure we get his last name right.
He does not. He does not like green eggs and ham.
He does not. But
Steve
Cease,
like Seuss Vide.
I am
right. He writes about trees that aren't trees and cats that just cause a whole mess of problems.
Dr. Seuss
for children.
I was thinking of the cooking technique.
Okay, so in other words, Steve, this was an apology that went all wrong. So we'll try to do better next time.
Sorry, Steve. I told them how to pronounce your name correctly. They're like, no, it's
shit.
It's pronounced Seuss.
He just forgot that he was supposed to. He just forgot he was supposed to apologize to you. I had to remind him.
I even made a note. Apologize to Steve Cease. It's Steve Cease. Steve, I tried to tell him. I did. I was like, it's Cease. And they're like, that's not how it's spelled. And I'm like, you guys, it's pronounced. I believe it's a German name. Oh, great. Now if he's not German, I'm going to get in trouble for that.
Yeah, you should stop while you're ahead.
He's like, no, asshole. It's actually Polish. Anyways.
I'm going to have Hartenbauer chop you next time I see you.
Yeah, and he's going to, because I'm going to pronounce his name like Hartenblower or something, and then it's going to fucking chop me. It's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Steve, we're sorry that we mispronounced your name. I take full accountability for it, because I was like,
Cease.
I think Sus?
Cease.
Steve Cease. Voice of Iron Spirit Pro. It does a fantastic.
Looking forward to December the 9th, man. You guys got anything else before we go?
Yes. Last call. Who's winning Friday? New Day or Usos?
Usos.
I agree. Unfortunately, I agree. I'd like the Usos. Jiminy Uso.
I like either story though. If they
I
go
like
either way,
story. Yeah,
me too.
Yeah, they're both great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Agreed.
I like it. Keep spreading the good word of wrestling, boys. AJ, take us home.
Prologue, Pepsi Center, Albany, New York. 1, 2, 3. From his backstage office, Vincent K. McMahon, chairman of World Wrestling Entertainment, thought the arena eruption sounded like 2 jet planes roaring overhead a stadium at the end of the Star-Spangled Banner. There were 5 or 6 seconds where you couldn't hear it. Okay, I'm going to stop now.
Grab them, catch. Oh, what's that all you do? Grab them, catch. And listen, I don't care what it takes.
So I'm kind of a little nervous now about Junkyard Dog being on Dark Side of the Ring.
I know. I am too. What are we going to find out?
I'm like, no.
Are we going to have to change our music?
Should this be the one we shouldn't watch? Like,
we shouldn't have been grabbing the cakes the whole time.
No, it's going to be about how he did nothing but charity his whole entire life when he wasn't wrestling.
Right.
That's it. Episode over. Charity. Yep. Fed homeless kittens.
Right. Anything else?
No. Yes, AJ should always talk in the prologue voice.
Hurt my throat.